Thank you, Uncle Stu. I appreciate the conversation, and I really enjoyed everything. And I'm glad people ain't had too much smoke for me. But I welcome the smoke, as you can see. I'm very open to it.
Okay, let me bring up Shannon Ross.
Oh,
Because justice is served on those men. Why highlight the criminals? Then Shannon said, why the need to talk about convicted criminals, but rather not highlight the liars who are ruining lives? That's crazy. You're about to make me drop the link again.
He doesn't want to talk about the crimes that are actually happening. Instead, he wants to focus on the minority of cases or cases that
I don't think it's a minority.
I do. I've actually seen the statistic. If you can prove that it's more of those false reports than there are of the real reports, then I'm open to that. But every statistical data that I see, that it's just it's much smaller the number of false reports that are made than there are real criminal activity. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, we quantify, we personalize a lot of things in our community, and then we disqualify things because we're like, oh, but that came from this source, so it's not we can't trust it, or that came from this source. But it's like, when are we going to face reality and believe things that are going on in our community and actually address those things versus focusing on things that are outliers and don't really ruin the community in the capacity that we claim? That's just my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe violence isn't ruining our community. Maybe I'm misinterpreting that. Maybe we're not deleting ourselves. Men deleting men every 25, 26 a day, or Black women being deleted 5 or 6 a day. I mean, maybe that's not happening in our community. I feel like some things it's just like, are we going to accept that this is what's going on in our community and actually deal with those things? Are we going to keep on talking about the one case when the woman did something that was different?
Nah,
that's what I don't get.
Shannon Ross says, reminds me of the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah.
See, they go back to the Bible and Jesus. What about the destruction of the NYC bomber? How about that? It's something recent. Let's talk about that. Like, how about we going back to the Solomon and Gomorrah? That ain't happened. Y'all wasn't even alive. Okay, we don't even know what happened. This is crazy. That's what I'm saying. The deflection is so crazy. It's like, when are we going to deal with what is going on? Because see, I'm only about dealing with the reality of what's going on in my community. And I love Nathan because he's like, these are the FBI statistics. This is what it is. Like, I actually watched several shows when he talked about the FBI statistics, and he talked about crime going on in communities. He talked about the breakdown, who's committing the crimes. He talked about all of that, right? When are we going to actually deal with that and not go back to the 1918 when Rosa Parks didn't sit on the bus? Like, what are we going to talk about 2022? When are we going to talk about that?
Well, it says, even God, I will not destroy even one innocent person, is afflicted. That's his whole quotation.
Amen. And when we finish quoting Solomon and Gomorrah, our community is still in the same state, right? That's all I'm saying, Uncle Stu. We still in the same position, still the same things happening. When are we going to stop going backward and actually think about how we're going to move forward with the things that's happening in our communities today? You know what I mean? I guess I don't know when we're going to do that.
She didn't even bother to read it. LOL. That, my friend, is a classic example of those who do not bother to understand, but rather be contentious.
Yeah, there you go. Classic example right here. Tawana G from the shop. A classic example of when to not participate and when to. There you go, girl.
Look, you got my boy Shannon Rawls all the way from Cali coming over here.
Well, this is what I do. This is what I do. I can't leave without stirring up the pot a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get the crowd. I gotta get the blood pumping. I gotta get the crowd going.
Have my comment section blowing up now.
Thank you, Uncle Stu. I appreciate the conversation, and I really enjoyed everything. And I'm glad people ain't had too much smoke for me. But I welcome the smoke, as you can see. I'm very open to it.
Courts issue 1.5 million false or trivial temporary restraining orders every year. In half of those cases, no physical violence actually occurred. Then he came back and said,
"Look, how many actually are right?" That's what I said.
About 70% of the total number of restraining orders courts issue every year. The cost to the taxpayer in each is approximately $2,000 to issue, serve, and adjudicate the order. Well, Shannon said he blasting it now. 85. Wait a minute, I want to make sure I didn't miss it. Okay, 85% of those orders targeted men. The other 15% are against women. Then he said there are on average 700,000 false charges of domestic violence each year in the United States.
But did he tell you how many are actually true? Because it's way more. Wasn't that my point? So I'm saying he's putting all these statistics. This is what people do. Okay. They put these statistics out. They talk about all of this. That has nothing to do with my point. My point was that there's more real cases than there are fake cases. You are showing that there are 700,000. Trust me, there is double that amount of actual real order of protections that are issued for like actual sustainable real reasons. That's what I'm saying. So we can keep highlighting the false reports. That's nationwide, by the way, but we haven't highlighted the real cases and real like people who need order of protections and the real violence that I don't want to say violence on your channel because I heard it gets shut down. But the real issues that are happening in the DV cases, like there are actual cases that go through that have real physical harm where people are really in danger and they actually get the order of protection for valid reasons. Like talk about that because it's over 90%. We could talk about the outlier of people who are not who falsely report, which we've already explained that people gonna falsely report. People gonna take advantage of it. They are in prison. Okay, so we can't talk about them because they're in prison. Like, okay, see, that's what I'm saying. This is the conversation I can't engage in. Like, we're going to focus on the false reports, but not talk about how many real reports were actually conducted. I mean, because I know those statistics, so I know that what is being reported is like to confuse the audience and make them think that all these people are falsely reporting. No, it's actually a small, just like when we do that with
Shannon says he's getting ready to cam up.
We go to, we do this with Black men too, right? Where it's like, oh, well, it's a small percentage of them doing something different. People always be like, well, let's talk about that small. What about these people? But everybody want to talk about the collective and what everybody else is doing. They don't want to talk about those small demographics. That's what they're doing. The opposite. Talking about the small demographics.
All right, we're waiting on Shannon Ross. He says he's going to cam up and speak.
So he can put his little stats out there. And if y'all want to believe that most people falsely report, then go ahead. I'm telling y'all that most people do not falsely report. So that's what my point is. And that's just the truth. So if we want to talk about those people who do falsely report, I don't really have time for that. Because what does that matter? What does that matter?
Shannon Ross is in the house. Salute. I just want y'all to know, you see his camera? I'm going to OBS so that I can have that same camera look, because this StreamYard stuff ain't working. So, bruh, I'm following your lead. I am putting OBS together so that my camera can look like as good as yours.
It ain't OBS that do this. It's just a lens. You got it. I'm on StreamYard right now. I ain't using OBS. I'm going direct to StreamYard, direct to your link.
Oh, okay.
All right, look, I know everybody got to go. Tawana has another show. I don't want to keep her too long. I just want to ask a question. Tawana, my love, do you support Black Lives Matter?
No.
You don't support Black Lives Matter? Okay.
No, I don't.
Hoorah to that. Do you believe that do you support, let's see, the kneeling that Colin Kaepernick was doing to highlight the police brutality?
What do you mean support it? Like, what do you mean support it? The police brutality is another issue. I mean, here's the thing. I want to know what's your purpose, because I really don't want to go through answering like no.
I want to know where your mind is. I want to know where your mind is when it comes to police brutality on Black Americans in America. Do you believe it's something that we should address?
I mean, in my opinion, we have some violent. I gotta think of another word, Uncle Stu. I do not want to get your channel taken down. What is the other word that people say? We have so much else. We have so many other things going on in our community. That's like, I don't know how much I support that movement, or I'm behind that whole movement of like let's defund this and that. I mean, like, I'm not 100% in support of that. When I see femicide rates, when I see other crime that's happening, that I'm more concerned about. I'm more concerned about that to me more heavily affects but I do not want to discredit people who feel that that's a concern and they want to fight for it. But we all have to fight for different lanes. Just like some people support breast cancer, some people support colon cancer. Like, I don't want to discredit everybody because it affects other communities different than it affects me, right? So it's not as much of a concern.
Okay. Like, no, you gave me.
That's right.
The reason why I asked that question, so got your answer. The reason why I was asking that question, because I was looking, you're consistent. You're consistent with what we were talking about just now with domestic violence against women. And do we highlight? So what I mean by, do we talk about the guys that's convicted? So the reason I was asking about the Black Lives Matter and the kneeling and the police brutality and stuff like that, I was doing it in reverse. Some people would say, why do we bother fighting and rioting and standing up for, from Michael Brown to, I mean, all these different situations that the police, when it's only a small percentage of that happening versus the larger arrest rates that are happening across the world. It's like, okay, so wait a minute. So we got, let's say,
mass incarceration.
Yeah, we got mass incarceration. We got 12,000. I mean, we had 13,000 Black people murdered in 2020, right? Out of 20,000 murders in America.
Can't say that word either.
You can't say murder?
Deletions.
Oh, okay. Well, they were homicides or whatever. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that happened in 2020.
Right.
We're talking about the 1.3% that happened at the hands of a police officer, of which most of them were all justified. But that's what happens, right?
Well, that's why I don't focus on that. You will never hear me saying that that's our fight when I know that we're being deleted 25 to 26 of us a day. Why would I care about something that's happening less than one time?
1.3, yeah.
Like, so it don't even happen every day. I feel like it's like 0.3 a day.
It's 1 point. No, it's 1.3 total, and of that 1.3,
right,
most of those were justified. So the bad cops basically is like 0.000, some crap like that. Right. But then that's what we're rioting for. People is turning up and looting and robbing and stealing and marching. Marching on Washington. We marching on Washington for this small, minute percentage of what's going bad in our neighborhoods, and we're turning a blind eye to what's good. I get you. So in that point, I don't have no smoke. Uncle
Listen,
Stu,
I was like, me and Shannon must be thinking differently, but I agree with that 100%. But what I'm not going to do though is act like we're not doing stuff in our community that's really like need to be addressed. Like you said, I'm not about to sit here and be holding up no sign about how the cops need to be defunded when I know we on our own in our own neighborhoods are
intellectual conversation. So that's why you see me being quiet, because again, It's not like you go to certain platforms, the man yelling over here, the woman. No, I got two intellectuals having a decent argument.
Right.
I would call it an argument because I'm in agreement with her. Here's the thing. This is what I discovered just now. That Tawana passed, if you want to call it a proverbial test, that most women don't pass when I get into this discussion. So she was saying, look, why are we discussing why are we discussing the few minority cases of false allegations of DV when we got all these other cases that's actually real? And I'm saying of those actual cases that are real, most of them are convicted, and then the other ones are the guy got off. It's a small minority of those that got off because he got rich parents or something like that, and all he got to do is go to counseling. You know, white folk up in San Francisco. We won't even mention those names.
Or remember, women can drop charges. Remember, women drop the charges, or don't show up, or don't do whatever they need to do to make sure that that it happens. So there's cases like that too. So I acknowledge all of that. I acknowledge all that.
And so for me, as an advocate for men, I'm saying, well, wait a minute. There's criminals over here who's actually ruining men's lives as well. Right. Should we not discuss that? Yeah. Tawana's saying, I ain't saying not discuss it. I'm saying the bigger argument should be over here. I hear what Tawana's saying. But then I go and I ask women, I say, well, how do you feel about Black Lives Matter? Oh, yeah, I support Black Lives Matter. How do you feel about police brutality? Oh, yeah, the police need to chill. They've been killing us in the streets, and they got their foot on our necks and all that other kind of stuff. And I say, well, wait a minute. Now, how is it that you want to ignore this small minority of cases of false allegations in DV, but then you want to highlight these small minority of cases over here in police brutality? Absolutely. That's not jiving. Exactly. But again, I have no smoke for Tawana, Uncle Stu.
Listen,
Tawana
all I had to do was
consistent on both points.
I don't think
I've ever ran into anybody that did that before. So shout out to her.
Shannon, all I had to do was read the purpose of the BLM movement, and I was like, oh no, I don't support that. Like, what? You against the nuclear family? What? It was ridiculous. People don't even know what kind of movement they're following. Yeah.
You talking to me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I didn't even hear you call my name. No, I'm good. I appreciate you having me up. I know we're going to connect and we're going to do another show together. Right. I appreciate you for bringing me on. Thank you, Tawana, for extending your time. I know you had to go.
Yeah, I did agree to do another panel.
Talking about. And don't be throwing away the Sodom and Gomorrah stories. Don't be throwing away the Sodom and Gomorrah
you saw me say amen. I said amen. I acknowledged it. I said amen. Now,
hallelujah. You threw it away before you even read it. I don't even get biblical. I'm just saying, well, should we, if one liar is out there, should we ignore all the, that's all I was trying to juxtapose this shit. I wasn't trying to preach. Anyways, love you guys. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, Uncle Stu. I look forward to the show tomorrow. I'm not sure what you're talking about tomorrow, but I'll be there.
All right, that'll work. Thank you, sir.
Cool.